I've kind of dubbed this one the Vex, the Great Throwdini, or Throwdini Vex, because it revolves around melee damage and specifically this skill called Haruspec. Welcome back to another early access preview gameplay video for Borderlands 4. I wanted to do a bit of a showcase of the different playstyles of Vex. I wanted to do one of each tree, and this one specifically is around the blue tree, which is the Dead Ringer. I've kind of dubbed this one the Vex, the Great Throwdini, or Throwdini Vex, because it revolves around melee damage and specifically this skill called Haruspec. It's a melee override skill. She will actually throw a dagger. She'll throw a Phase Dagger at an enemy, and it will be the element of whatever she's attuned to, whether that's kinetic or incendiary, corrosive, shock, whatever it is. Normally, it's an 18-second cooldown, but you can make that a little bit faster if you get a kill skill. Some of the other things that we're doing here is, since this is all melee damage, clones that I'm using are focusing on the Reapers more than the Spectres. I am focused on the Reapers because the Spectres seem to die pretty early on. They don't live as long, and the Reapers actually, they taunt the enemies. So they will take the aggro from the mobs that are around, which I have found to be pretty useful when it comes to survivability. Also allows you to reposition pretty well, get different angles. Because I want to focus on the Reapers, they do melee damage. So I'm pretty much taking all the skills that do melee damage in a tree. I'm taking the Cursed Blade. This one gives the minions the curse damage. I'm using this pin cushion one that makes it so I throw not just one dagger, but 5 in kind of a fan. And then I have the capstone of the Grim Reaper here. One thing that's important is I think that this one's going to be a pretty important skill to start putting more points into, because the Reapers will last as long as they have health, and they're constantly losing health. So it is a good thing to kind of build up their health. So we have this one, which increases our melee damage as well as our maximum health capacity, which I just noticed there's a bit of a typo on the maximum health capacity wording there. This is something that's pretty important. So I want to boost as much of the melee damage as I can, and I want to get my minions to have as much health as they can so they live as long as possible. And as far as gear goes, I don't really have anything specific for this build on the gear, just kind of a bunch of randoms. But one thing that is important to know is I have this rep kit, which does have the hard hitter passive, which says on use grants increased melee damage dealt by 40%. This class mod gives me action skill duration and some damage reduction, but it also puts points into this skill here, which is Claw and Bang, which gives me more melee damage and ordnance damage. So one thing that's cool is you can deploy the clones based upon the element that you're attuned to. You are attuned to the element that you have in your hand. So the element that I have in my hand, and I'm using a lot of Malawong because it allows me to switch, is shock right now. So I have shock. I'm going to deploy a blue Reaper here that does shock damage because these guys all have shock on their health bars. And then I'm also going to do this one here is corrosive, because they have corrosive bars a lot, right? So that's pretty cool. Now, if I wanted a kinetic one, I would do this. One thing that's cool is, boom, we hit them with those knives right there. Super nice melee damage here. We're gonna hit that guy right there. Bam. Apparently the kill skills don't always reset the cooldown, which is a little bit interesting. I don't know why it would reset it for some of the kill skills and not the others, but there you go. So that's the gist of the build, is deploy your Reapers to take aggro and do a lot of melee damage. And the Reapers just kind of do work here. Now the Grim Reaper one's pretty sweet too. Now because I have 3 shock Reapers right here, I'm gonna do the Grim Reaper as corrosive, and this is the Grim Reaper there. So the Grim Reaper's fun. It does a bunch of damage and will has a chance to spawn another Reaper if it gets kills. Ah, we just missed that one. I don't really know where that guy's trying to attack, but hey, here we are. So far, it's been the most fun playstyle that I have seen with Vex, or that I've tested out with Vex, I should say. It's been a pretty fun time. The movement in this game is so much fun. So here's something that's pretty cool, and I'm gonna come over here to kind of show this off a little bit. As you're moving around the arena and you get your grapples in, you can glide and you get a lot of movement speed going, which is nice. All right, so this guy's got a red, blue, and a corrosive bar. So we're gonna deploy our fire clone here. And then we're gonna do a shock clone. And then I'm gonna do a corrosive clone too. So we're gonna have one of each. And they kind of get after it. They get after it. It's pretty nice. If you want to draw a little smiley face, you can shoot the glass and it'll leave your hit markers there. Because you gotta have fun while you're gaming. By the way, something to note here, the curse damage applies a kind of like a dark phase mark on them, as you can see there, which means they'll take that curse damage and more kinetic damage and whatnot. That gets applied when I run up and I smack them. See that there? But it's not applied when I do the throwing knives. When they survive it. So that's something that's kind of interesting to note, I think. So here I'm going to use my rep kit. That's going to give me some extra melee damage. Oh. Thank you, Reaper. Appreciate it. Something that's interesting is this little stamina bar that you have. Your dash takes half of that bar right away. So you can dash twice before you lose it. Also, the interesting thing about the dash is if I'm moving pretty good here and I dash, like say I grapple and I use the dash and I'm gliding and I'm going pretty fast. If I do a dash in midair, it kind of stops my momentum. I'll see if I can get an example of that here in a second. Interesting thing to know about. I'm gonna hit my rep kit here and then blammo. And he's gone. I will show you though. Oops, that wasn't great. Actually I'll bring that up first. So here's the controls. So as you look at the controls, you notice that you have alternate bindings on everything. So you have your main binding, you have your alternate bindings, which is cool. That is great. One problem is that the melee grapple are together on the keybind and you can't separate them. So as you're playing a melee build, you'll find times where you go to melee an enemy, like right here, but then you'll be too close to a grapple and it'll grapple you away. Or you are close to this item. So if I'm close to this and I'm trying to hit that guy, there's a chance that I might just grapple instead of hit him. Luckily, I'm out of the target zone, but if there was a guy like right there and I'm trying to throw my knives at him, it'll grapple that item instead of hitting him with what I want to hit him with. If I go back over here, see that? It has like a ring around it showing you how close you have to be before it actually allows you to grapple. So here, I can grapple it. Here, I cannot. So if I go to grapple that because I see the icon, well, I just throw my knives instead. And now my cooldown's got an 18-second cooldown, and that's not great. Take a step forward. Boom, now we can do it. But there, as you can see, the movement is very, very nice. I'm so happy about the movement. So this is a really fun throwing knives build, the Great Throwdini Vex build that I think I'm gonna take all the way through. Now, one thing I like to do in the builds that I use is I want to be able to do a little bit of everything without having to shuffle everything around. I don't want to have to be able to, I want to make sure that the builds I have survivability, they have a lot of ad control, they can control, you know, a bunch of different mobs if we have to, but it also has the ability to take on a boss. It doesn't have to have the most damage. That doesn't matter to me a ton. I don't have to one-shot a boss. I know there's a lot of people that focus on being able to do a ton of damage and one-shot every boss, which is cool to watch, cool to fun. It's fun to be able to do, but not something I'm gonna focus on. Which I don't know if this build will even be able to do that. Once I get all the, you know, you get all 50 level 50 skill points and all the different passes and all the specializations, everything that you can do in the game. It'll be interesting to find out if that's something that you can do, is do a lot of damage to a boss. But if not, as long as it allows me to beat the boss pretty effectively, I'll be pretty happy about it. Normally, I don't like melee builds in games. Okay, that was a great example of grabbing a barrel or grabbing a throwable instead of throwing the knives like I wanted to. That was a perfect example of that. But normally I don't play melee builds very often. But this is a really, really fun version of a melee build. I like it a lot. Ever since I unlocked that skill, I've been having a ton of fun playing it. Let's see. What do I want to? You know what? Let's make a shock Grim Reaper here. And then we'll do a corrosive Reaper when it comes up. All right, so now to get into the boss fight and see how the Great Throwdini can handle some bossing. All right, so something interesting. He is immune. Not only is he immune, but his bullets reflect. So all damage reflects off of him. He looks like he is all flesh once you take that away. So we're gonna grab this. Boom, take the shield off. Now something I want to do is get rid of these guys. Because this dude's crazy and he'll absorb them. So it does pretty well. I think it's fair to say. He's already down to his second health bar. So one thing that's cool about the movement is using the double jumps and the glides allow you to get around these arenas really well. And also just move around the boss, avoid a lot of the damage that he'll do. In this case, you want to be in these zones to not get hurt by these spires of lightning he's calling down. My Reapers are going crazy even though they're not really doing anything. Alright, so they're not taking, he's not taking any damage yet. We got green bar coming down. Hit him with the bomb. Oh, I missed a guy, dang it.
How's your aim, Saul?
All right. Alright, get all 3 of our Reapers out. Oh no, he's absorbing that guy. Ah, he got him before we could get it. Now he's immune again. We want to avoid his damage, so I'm just going to be spinning around the arena here. And he's doing his little zone thing, which kind of sucks because now my Reapers are just basically doing a whole lot of nothing. And this is one thing I'm not a big fan of when it comes to pet builds, is they're attacking this guy even though he's immune, while there are enemies that are jumping into the arena that can be damaged. I gotta wait for him to do his thing. Alright, let's wait for the green one. Right there. Oh, that went through his legs! Oh, over here throwing a Jason Kidd pass. Dang it. Alright. Let's see if he'll call down. Alright, it's not there. There it is, I hear it. No, 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 see? It threw the knives instead of grabbing the thing because I was a little bit too far away. I would like it if that icon didn't show up unless I had the grapple available. I don't like to know that it's close but not yet available. Alright, so I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna hit him with the Grim Reaper. Bring another Reaper in. I want to make sure that he doesn't use these guys. Oh, I hit him in the wrong spot. And he's dead.
I hate that one.
Not too bad. I switched over to the Phase Familiar tree, and I'm using the exact same gear so that you can kind of see the differences between the different trees and the playstyles, with the exact same guns and shields and everything being used. In this case, we're using the Phase Familiar tree, which focuses on her minion Trouble. And then we're using the augment for beast mode, and then we have the capstone of unsealed. So we'll see how that goes. And then we're going to demonstrate here the kind of press and hold for beast mode, and then we'll teleport Trouble over here. So there's the big Trouble. That is the beast mode of the pet. I just got a level up, but I'm not going to use a skill point because the last test did not have a skill point. There's the marking right there. So you'll do more gun damage if you are attacking the marked enemy. So we're going to do a bunch of shock damage, take shields away. We're going to do a bunch of kinetic damage whenever we have a marked enemy. And then we're going to kind of let, I guess... The weird thing about this tree is you're kind of letting Trouble dictate the battlefield a bit. Which I'm not a huge fan of when we're talking about letting the programmable behavior happen. I would rather be directing the pet on all of the stuff that it's doing rather than having it direct me. but we'll see how it goes. The ammo waiting, if you will. All right, so we're gonna teleport. All right, the teleport's not working. There it goes. Get some Torg stickies going. Attuned to the element that I was holding. Oh, look at that. I didn't know that. Okay, trouble will change on the fly. So if I'm holding shock, boom, blue shock. If I switch to fire, boom, fire. I don't know if you guys are hearing the music very well. It is so good. The music in the game is pretty awesome. That is definitely a big bonus. A big plus, I will say, is the music when you get into combat situations is pretty nice. I have been enjoying it quite a bit. We watched this earlier. We don't need to watch it again. There is cutscene skipping. That was a question I have been getting asked.
What is happening with your face area?
My death sphere did not death sphere very well. Where did you get your... Oh.
What is happening with your face area?
We want to try and get as much of this boss exposed as possible. We don't want to give him the chance to recover. I'm gonna swing around him. He's gonna go after these guys. Yep, there he is. Boom, we stopped him. All right, Trouble, get him. You can definitely tell the damage is not there as much as the last, the last build. The Throwdini build was definitely stronger. Now, when you get these miniguns, you move pretty slow, but you can still do like the double jumps and the glides, which help your movement speed just a little bit, which is actually really cool. Those miniguns are really fun to use. Nice.
You could control me.
Even with a bunch of bonus damage on shock. Alright, cool. Now he's stunned.
Give it your best shot.
Get him! Get him, Trouble! Finish him! No. Ah, dang it. Here's the final of the 3 that I'm going to go through today, and we're going into the Incarnate tree. So I've got the Desecration capstone here, which makes the Eldritch Blast homing, so it's a little bit easier to hit enemies. I liked these two a little bit better. I like this Witchy Trigger Finger, which will refill ammo on current guns, so you can kind of empty a magazine, go into the phase explosion, and then get a refill of your magazine using the exact same gear as the last time. And since we had a skill point left over, I made sure to have a skill point left over by default. So the idea is get close to enemies, go through the explosion. And as you can see there, I hit the one enemy, killed it, and that gave the secondary explosion to the other enemy, so it finished both of them off in one hit. See, that's the goal right there, is to be able to hit an enemy with it and kill them, just like that one. Also causing as much status effect damage as possible. I think that's going to be a big thing with Vex, is just always remember to have the right element equipped. Alright, so we want to do the explosion here. And we're just going to get the kinetic blast for that guy. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know. With the points distributed as they are, with as few as I have and the gear that I'm running, I want this build to focus on the Eldritch Blast and the damage there, and be able to just do a whole bunch of really cool, like, Siren magic damage stuff. But so far, it just has not fit the build. The action skill needs to have a shorter cooldown. It needs to have a longer duration, and it needs to do more damage before it can be, like, really viable, I think. The torque stickies are pretty darn nice, I gotta admit. As per the usual. Worry about dodging a whole lot, which is interesting. No. Aha, we got him. Death Sphere. And blow. Da-da-da. Give me that. Of the 3 playstyles that I tried on Vex, the Dead Ringer with the Reaper clones and the throwing knives is easily my favorite. It feels really strong out of the gate. It's really nice and fun to use. The Trouble Tree, I'm not a big fan of, but it feels like it could be fine. I think you could build it to be pretty strong. The Incarnate one would be my favorite. It started out as my favorite, but it just feels the weakest right now. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. Vex is a lot of fun. More fun than I expected Vex to be, honestly. I was very excited for the Siren characters. Sirens are always the first character that I play every time that I start a new Borderlands game. And when I first played Vex during the demo, and I was reading the skill trees about all of the pet stuff, I wasn't too excited about it. I didn't think that I was going to enjoy her very much, but overall, I found some play styles that I really, really like, and her personality's great. I think her voice actor does an awesome job. The writing's fun, so enjoy it. Check her out and see if you guys like it. Let me know what Vault Hunter you're going to be using and which builds you're going to be going with. Thanks, everyone.